Hello to all you artists and creatives out there. My name is Rippon. I'm an oil painter. I'm living in Albany, New York, and this is Rippon Studio, my YouTube channel. Now, this YouTube thing is all new to me, and to be quite honest with you, I don't know what I'm doing. Even though I've had friends who've been telling me for some time that I should start a channel, I've been putting it off for several reasons. One, I didn't think that I really had anything to say that people would care to hear. Two, I wanted to, if I were going to put together a channel, start talking about my paintings. I wanted to talk about my philosophical approach to my paintings, the ideas behind my paintings. I wanted to share what I hope to accomplish with my paintings. But since my paintings are rather large, 7 feet tall, 6.5 feet tall, 5.5 feet tall, I didn't think that I would be able to finish enough of my work to support a steady stream of content. So there's that. But then finally, the third thing was fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of criticism. Few things bring out fear like starting any sort of creative venture. If you attempt to do anything other than go to work, put in a 9 to 5, come home, get back up the next day, and do it all over again, you're going to experience fear. Now, like I've said, I don't know what I'm doing with this YouTube thing, so I feel like I'm just swinging at the fences. I would like to have a really nice presentation. I wish I actually had studio space. But the fact of the matter is, my physical studio is literally a small bedroom with all of the stuff that my wife won't allow me to have in other parts of the house. My paintings are stacked one on top of the other, leaning against one of my bookshelves. None of these things are ideal for putting any sort of presentation together. But after thinking about it, I switched my perspective and my approach. I decided I'll make what I don't know part of the selling point of the channel. Since what I don't know could fill volumes of books, I figured I'd at least be able to pull 1 or 2 episodes out on a more consistent basis than if I were waiting until everything was absolutely perfect. So instead of trying to be super slick and overly polished, I'd strip things back. Bare bones honesty. Hence, the pics that you're seeing on your screen are actually of my workspace now. So I'll share my insights about pursuing an art career as I stumble, fumble, and make progress with the audience that I hope to build. My thinking is that many people are stumbling along, falling, and getting up, tripping over things, uncertain as to how to proceed. Why not do this together on my channel? When I changed my way of thinking about presentation, I realized that I have quite a bit to talk about relating to my art. I could talk about the financial sacrifices I've made, the struggles to find a website designer to help me create my website, ripponstudio.com. I could talk about how I struggled to get my business papers done so that I could apply for the available art grants that I didn't even know existed until someone told me about them, etc., etc. There's tons of things that you could talk about related to your art. Anyway, I realized that there are plenty of people who are held back by what they don't know and who might appreciate following me as I trudge through these different aspects of art as a business. When I'm painting, I usually have an art documentary playing on my computer or an interview with an artist that I admire, something encouraging that helps me maintain motivation. I like to listen to Rafi and Klee. They're funny. I think they give great motivational advice. I'll leave a link to their stuff in the description down below. Also, I like to listen to a woman named Moriah, Alise. She's fantastic. I'll also have a link to her stuff down in my description. There aren't a lot of black artist shows on YouTube, so I'm glad to be the new kid on the block. Now, before I move on and wrap this episode up, I need to talk about something. For those of you who might be wondering if I'm the same Rippon who was doing that documentary on black people in the comic industry called Black Ink years ago, yes, that's me. I owe everyone a huge apology and an explanation, so I'm going to take this time right now to do both. I did get all of the footage together to complete several documentaries, and I decided to break the whole movie into 4 distinct parts covering the comics industry from several different angles and Black's contributions in each. As some of you know, I was working with my son to get the job done. However, if you look at the videos and interviews from the time about the film, you will notice that I was always either alone during the interview or with one of my daughters. This went on until it became apparent that my son wasn't really interested in what I was trying to create, largely for him and by extension for my family. That was kind of painful for me. It was a hard thing for me to accept because giving him his own business so he wouldn't have to work for anyone else was my dream for him. But everyone has to live their own life, so I swallowed hard and said, okay. That was kind of the first hit. Right? Not devastating, but it did hurt a bit. Anyway, as I was beginning to edit the film footage together, one of my daughters, and I do have her permission to share this, was sexually assaulted. Her mother and her sister tried to hide this from me, but these things have a way of coming to light. So now, all of a sudden, I'm dealing with the fact that my son wasn't really interested in what I was trying to put together for him and the family, and my daughter winds up getting sexually assaulted. Threw me into a totally weird headspace. I didn't really know how to deal with that. It was a lot. So every time I would sit down to edit the film, I would get hit with waves of feelings about everything that was going on around me that wasn't positive, and it made it very difficult for me to move through the editing process. Shortly after that, I said, okay, I'm going to get this done. Sit down, I'm going to just force my way through it. And then all of a sudden, my mother up and died. As you can tell, it impacted me. It still impacts me, the whole thing. So at some point, when I tried to sit down and work on the film, I would just get overwhelmed with all of these feelings, and it was just, I began to associate the film with everything that had negatively impacted me, and it was just very difficult for me to finish. So I kind of laid it aside. So to everyone who donated or was interviewed, please forgive me for this. This is what happened. It's not an excuse. It is just an explanation. And in an odd way, it's what led to this present art project. Now, I still have everyone's name from my Kickstarter, and when the film is done, and I do plan on getting back to it this year and finishing it off, and when the film is done, I plan on reaching out to all of you who believed and donated. At this point, to be honest with you, totally honest with you, I just want to get it off my desk, out of the queue. So that's what happened. Once again, please forgive me. And I will make sure that when I'm finished with this film, I'll be reaching out to each one of you who donated. I still have your names. Now, back to the wrap up. Well, what will I do with this channel? For one, I plan on speaking life into your minds concerning your creative goals. To make a long story short, it's encouragement for creatives. Share my experiences with the art world as I stumble along. Hopefully I'll make the mistakes and you can learn from them so you don't have to. Talk about my 3 main goals. I have a midway goal, which is to increase the number of paintings on my site. Second, apply and obtain a grant. Third, use that grant to refurbish the garage and turn it into a studio. We have a garage. I've got a contractor friend of mine who's giving me a quote on how much it would cost to overhaul the garage, and that's what I want to do. And finally, share my artistic process as well as discuss the events that led up to specific paintings. So here I am, online, finally. If you're still interested in following me and you want to know about my philosophical approach to my series, American Woman, a Pinup Lynching Series, you can click on my postings in this YouTube channel here, and you can read a breakdown of what and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Please visit my website, www.ripponstudio.com, where you can get hints as to the paintings that I have in my queue. So that's all for now. Please subscribe, like, all of that good stuff. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time, please fan the flames of passion within yourself, because let me tell you, passion will help you find your way when you feel lost. And in everything, go hard in the paint.